My name is Luana Vasconcelos, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the age of industrialization, or more specifically about the Second Industrial Revolution. Well, this historical moment is also known as the Technology Revolution, and it began around the late 19th century and extended until almost the beginning of World War I. It was a very special and important moment in history because it expanded electricity with the creation of the incandescent electric light and also the use of steel. Petroleum was also a very important energy resource in this period, and other inventions such as the light bulb, the airplane, and the telephone were invented in that period as well. Here I did a little timeline about inventions by that time. So in 1876, there was the invention of the telephone, and it was created by Alexander Graham Bell. He received a patent for the telephone and many awards for it, and he secured the rights to the discovery by that time. And then in 1879, 3 years later, there was the famous invention of the light bulb by Thomas Edison. He also worked with other people, but he received the credits for it. And he made the incandescent bulb that burned long enough to be practical for people. In 1895, there was the invention of the radio by a guy named Guglielmo Marconi. He was the first to develop the idea of a radio, and that's why he mainly became famous. In 1899, there was the discovery of the aspirin, which Bayer discovered, and it is used until today, so it was a very important discovery. And in 1903, there was the famous invention of the airplane by the Wright brothers. It is told that their dream was to invent a flying machine, and so they invented the airplane, and it became extremely useful for transportation, and also it is one of the best inventions we have today for transportation and communication and traveling, other stuff. Here I chose one of the inventions that happened in the Second Industrial Revolution, which is the invention of the tractor. It was invented firstly in 1849 by a guy named John Froelich that was born in November 24 in Iowa. I chose the tractor because it is a machine that has been through a lot of changes and different models. And so I think that most people don't know exactly a lot about it, and I didn't as well, and so I thought it could be interesting. This man, he operated a grain elevator and mobile trashing service before inventing the tractor, and this is a image of him, and there's an image of the tractor that he invented. The name tractor comes from traction, and he used a single-cylinder gasoline-powered engine that he modified together with this company called the Waterloo Gasoline Traction Engine Company. And then in 1894, he invented the tractor. Here we have another timeline, but this one is only for the tractor and the sum of the different models, because there are a lot more. It is an invention that resulted in many different other inventions, but these are some examples of the most famous one. So the first one that I already presented was invented in 1894. It is wrong in there. I'm gonna correct it. I'm sorry. And then in 1901, there was this other tractor that was invented by Charles Parr and Charles Hart in 1901, and it was a gasoline traction engine. And then 10 years later, in 1911, there was the first invention of a kerosene-powered tractor, and the creator was John Deere in 1911. In 1918, this man called William Butterworth. He was part of a company, the same company that John Deere was from. They were from the same family as well. And he contributed to the development of a new tractor, a new model, which is that one, that green one from the photo. And last but not least, from this timeline, it goes a lot further until nowadays, but the last one from here is in 1920 from Henry Ford, which is very famous in the Industrial Revolution topic. He invented a tractor in 1920 and it was called the Fordson model. Here I wrote a little bit about the necessity of the invention of tractors by that time. So they were mainly invented to facilitate the agricultural systems, and moreover, steam-powered engines were used to thresh wheat. And the inventor John Frulish was also frustrated with the problems of steam engines, and they were too heavy and bulky and hard to maneuver. And so the main reason why it contributed a lot is that it provided machine power for performing agricultural tasks in an easier way. It was a technology that improved farming and it helped commerce and the economy. Also, it received many adaptations through time until it became the model that farmers use nowadays. And I believe that the creation was possible mainly because of previous inventions that were a part of the machine and the operation system. And second industrial revolution for sure played an important role in that. I did a little map about the Industrial Revolution and the main inventions around the globe. This was the map. So I selected here 7 inventions that were very famous. In 1869 in the USA, which is represented by the little blue ball, light blue, there was the invention of the Transcontinental Railroad in the United States that really helped communication between the states and the transportation of goods. And then in 1804, many years before that, in England, there was built the first steam locomotive, which is represented by the red dot. And then in the purple dot, there's the first powered airship ever built that was in France. There were others around the world, but people tried to do it many times, but the one in France was successfully built in 1852. And then in 1880, the first electric-powered elevator was invented in Germany, which is the green dot. The yellow dot is the first refrigerator invented, and it was in Australia in 1879. In 1874, there was the first electric filament lamp created in Russia, which is that dot, that dark blue dot. And the orange dot was the first newsprint that was created in Canada in 1838. There were also many other inventions created around the globe that were extremely important by that time, which I didn't place it in here because I selected some of the ones that I thought were more important. But also there are other countries that had many inventions that are famous until today, but those countries went through the Industrial Revolution later. They had a late development of it, and so it did not count as this period in time. And here are my works cited. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from it because I really enjoyed doing it and I learned a lot from it. Thank you.